Autobots, roll out!
Hello and welcome to That's Just Prime, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Wei Jiang God of War Autobot Apex, and I love this toy. This came out somewhere around 2019, 2020. I'm not sure what the exact release date of this was, but it did retail for approximately $60. And this is really cool because what this is if you want to just simplify what this is a KO. It is an oversized KO of Studio Series 38 Optimus Prime. So basically they took that mold, they upsized it considerably. It's a lot bigger than the original one was. They've made some minor modifications and improvements to the mold overall, and this thing is absolutely fantastic. So here we have it in vehicle mode. It's approximately 9 inches long, about 5 inches tall at the top of the cab, 6 if you want to go to the top of the smokestacks right there. And again, as you can see, it's pretty much the Studio Series 38 Optimus Prime, just with a lot more detail. We got a lot of chrome and in a bigger size, just kind of going all the way around so you can take a look at the whole thing. Now, there's a couple of things that come included with him. He does come included with his weapon, which can be stored under the vehicle. If you remember the original Studio Series, we had to plug the weapon in right here, and you can still do that with this one if you'd like, but they actually made some tabs here in the feet to store the weapon inside of the vehicle, which I like a lot, and I'll show you how that plugs in a moment. It also comes with an extra pair of fists. Now, these are the fists that actually came attached to the figure itself, and they are identical to the original fist that came with Studio Series 38. The fists that I have on there now are the additional fists that come included, which have articulated hands. And in order to change these out, these are not a simple pop on and pop off. You do have to take the screws out. You have to take them apart. These come off. It's relatively straightforward. You take off the screw, they split in half. The other hand, because there is an articulation joint in there, there is a pin going through the knuckles. It's a little more of an operation to do to separate the arm, or the hand rather, because you're not going to separate it the whole way, but you have to separate it just enough to get it over the mushroom peg. So I went ahead and just did that off camera because those are the hands I plan to keep with this one anyway. But there you go. There's the original fist that came with it, and those will be, you'll see the other ones in a moment when we get to the vehicle mode. Or rather the robot mode. Let's look at this vehicle mode real quick. Again, Studio Series 38, but look at all the chrome, the smokestacks. These are nice and chrome. We've got chrome wheels. We've got chrome tanks. We also have rubber wheels right here. So this is just absolutely amazing. You can see, I don't know, let me try and show it off if I possibly can, but you can see through the windshield there, they did mold a matrix of leadership inside of his chest, and you can actually see it through the windshield, which is really cool. It doesn't actually come off, it's not meant to, but it's in there. And yeah, just kind of going all the way around the truck. He's got a lot of silver details. A lot of what was unpainted plastic on the original has actually been painted and detailed in silver paints this time around, and it just makes for an absolutely beautiful, beautiful piece. That Studio Series figure was already fantastic as it was. This just makes it better. That is going to be about it for the vehicle mode. Let's do a couple of quick comparisons. Here he is next to the the MP, the movie masterpiece, Optimus Prime, also from the Bumblebee movie. So you can see how these guys scale together. And again, the Wei Jiang one is considerably bigger. We've also got the original Studio Series 38 Optimus Prime, so you can see the differences here, and you can see we've got all this chrome now. We've got all that nice silver paint, chrome up here, and just how much bigger of a difference. I mean, you can actually just kind of haul this guy back here. He just almost completely fits on the back of this truck. That's how much bigger this new one is, which is absolutely insane. And then one more comparison. Here he is with the M01 Commander, which is an upsized version of the which Prime was this one? This was based on the evasion mode. That's what it was. This is an upsized version of the evasion mode Optimus Prime, which I've also reviewed here. And yeah, they are pretty much in, well, actually, this one's actually considerably bigger than that one too. So it's absolutely enormous and absolutely awesome. This thing is just so beautiful. I have not been able to stop playing with this thing for about a week now, and that's saying a lot because you're going to see this in the transformation in about a minute, but the joints on this guy are super tight, and I'm starting to gauge up there in age, and I'm starting to get arthritic symptoms in my hands. It runs in my family. So every time I play with this guy, my fingers hurt when I'm done. But I can't stop because it's just so cool. So enough about that. Let's just get into the transformation. And transformation is going to be pretty much, well, not pretty much, exactly like what we're used to seeing with the Studio Series figures. So we're going to start on this one. Let me do this. I want to start around the back first. Let me go ahead and unplug the back here and bring this up. And I want to go ahead and separate the legs because I want to show you the weapon. So we'll go ahead and take that off. And the weapon is, again, the exact same weapon that came with Studio Series 38. It's just upsized. And then if you look down here inside of the legs, there are slots right there. And the weapon's got tabs there and there. So the weapon actually tabs in right here. And then you can just have it inside of the vehicle, which I absolutely love that. So we're going to, well, we're already here. We might as well go on with the legs. So take your fifth wheel right here, fold that. I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a lot of super tight joints with this guy. So just bear with me on that. Separate the foot or untab the foot, bring it around, rotate it, and then bring it up the rest of the way, rotating on this hinge right there. Do the same over here. Rotate and bring up on the hinge. Super tight. Release these panels right here. Close the gas tanks. These actually snap into place this time around. Bring these down, and then these slots are going to go into those T-pegs right there on the back of his ankle. Same on this side. Take these, turn them. This is going to open all the way up. And then when this leg comes down, or this panel comes down, there's going to be a tab here that's going to go into that peg hole there. And a tab here that's going to go into that slot down there. It's just really going to secure all the panels on the legs a lot more securely than it did on the original Studio Series figure, which is really nice. Just get everything tabbed in. And again, super tight joints, super tight tabs. I'm sure these will loosen up with time, but for now they're just super tight. Which I actually like because it holds nicely when it's up on the shelf and I've got everything posed and all of that. So I don't mind it all that much, but it does hurt my fingers when I'm trying to mess with them. And then we'll tab that in there. There you go. The legs are pretty much all done. We are going to move this camera up. This guy is enormous, but you'll see. All right, let's start down here with the side panels. We're going to take this entire side panel and we're going to pop this off. Bring it down, flip this, that tab's going to go there. We're going to take this little silver panel here, actually take the whole front of the cab here and just kind of push it forward and down like that. And then this silver piece is going to come down and cover the wheel. We'll do the same over here, bring this down, tab that, bring this silver panel down and cover the wheel. Bring the, let's see, up here, these panels are going to come up and these are going to fold over on a double hinge. Bring this panel up and fold over on a double hinge. We can now bring out the arms. So go ahead and bring out the arm. This is kind of like your classic Optimus Prime style. Straighten out the arm and straighten out the forearm. Something cool that I do want to point out is that there's an addition of a tab on the back of the shoulder right here that tabs into this panel where the head is mounted to actually secure it in place for vehicle mode, which is really nice. So bring the arm out and then just kind of bring it up like this so it's out of the way. Same thing over here. We'll bring the arm out in classic Optimus Prime style. Straighten out the forearm, straighten out the arm, and just bring it up and out of the way. Take the windshields right here. We're going to separate these. Now they've added tabs on the windshield so that when you close this up for vehicle mode, the windows are actually tabbing into each other, which is really nice. And then these are on double hinges. We're going to bring these all the way out. and rotate these panels inwardly. Now, let's take a quick look. Let's take a pause here to take a look inside the chest, and there is his matrix of leadership. It does look like it's a separate piece. I have tried, and many other reviewers have tried to remove that out of there, and I don't know of anybody that has just been able to successfully remove that matrix out of there. I don't believe it's meant to be removed. I believe it's meant to be just there for decoration, and it's a cool little touch that they added to this figure. But there you go. So there's a matrix right there. All right, that being said, let's come around the back here, take the head and pop it out of that spot, bring it all the way down, and we should be at a good place now. If we get ourselves at just the right angle, we can go ahead and take the entire top of the vehicle right here and rotate it around. Go ahead and bring this the rest of the way up. Bring our wheels in. Rotate this panel so that these are going to tab into here. Got to get the wheels in all the way. And then those are going to tab in. Those tabs are going to go into that back panel right there. Open this panel up and over. That's also going to secure in place right there. The head's going to come up and over, slot right in there. And then the chest pieces are going to come back in, and these tabs are going to go into those holes right there. And we're pretty much there. Let's get him nice and straightened out and very, very, very backed away from the camera because he is absolutely enormous, but he is glorious. And there is our God of War Autobot Apex Optimus Prime in robot mode. And here in robot mode, he measures approximately 12 inches tall. Again, this guy is absolutely enormous. So let's just take a look at him going all the way around. So you can see, again, he is exactly the Studio Series 38 Optimus Prime. Molding, there haven't been any major molding changes to the... Oh, I forgot. These panels here have to turn to from the little boxes on his legs. Yep, forgot that step. You can go down and remove your comment now. But anyway, just going all the way around, there isn't any backpack or kibble or anything like that. We've got the window under his forearm, exactly like Studio Series 38 did, exactly like the Masterpiece did. It's there. I know it's a point of contention with a lot of people, but what are you going to do? Other than that, it's a very good representation of Optimus Prime as we saw him in the Bumblebee movie, and he looks absolutely fantastic. Articulation-wise, his head is on a ball joint, so he can go forward and backwards, up and down, side to side, inquisitive, turn, all of that good stuff. Arms can rotate forward and backwards all the way around. They can go in and out at that big, beefy rotation, or a ratchet joint right there. He can turn at the biceps. He can bend at the elbow. He can turn his wrists. And now let's take a look at the new hands. They are different. So again, he can turn at the wrist. He can also open at this joint. And can he bend? Yeah, so he can bend all of the fingers at that first joint, and then that second joint allows him the trigger finger to stick out just a little more. So that's going to be it for that hand. And then on this hand, same thing. You can rotate the wrist. You can move the fingers at that first joint. However, the index finger can go out all the way on this one. It almost seems like he should be able to do it on this hand, but for whatever reason, it doesn't on mine. There it goes. I was going to say, I don't want to force it, but I forced it. So there you go. So you can actually point all the way out with the index finger on both hands. So they're not different. They are the same. I just hadn't loosened up the joints. Again, like I said, this guy's got super tight joints, so I'm still finding out new stuff about him. Okay, he can rotate at the waist. Legs can go forward that far, back only that far, in and out. Rotate at the hip, bend at the knee, and then the ankles can, he's got an ankle tilt, so he can do A stances. Really, really nice. All right. Two more changes or differences or upgrades that have been made from the original mold. Let's take a look at his head real quick. So actually, before I show you the head, let me show you the instructions. I didn't show these off in the beginning. So in the instructions, it'll show you there are 3 screws on the back of the head. You take those off. The front of the entire front half of the head comes off, and there's a little electronic piece in there. You got some LR41 batteries. They usually come included with it. You pop those in there, you screw everything back on, and there's a little button at the back of the head to light up his eyes. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at his head. Let me try and get this zoomed in and focused. So again, the head, the detail on this is just absolutely glorious. Take a look at that. That looks absolutely fantastic. And if you go all the way around, there's that little button right there. So when you press on that, he's got glorious light up eyes, so bright that his eyes alone are going to light our darkest hour. Forget the Matrix. We just need Optimus's eyes right here. That's all we need. So yeah, check that out. That really does give Optimus a really good semblance of just life up on the shelf. Check that out. That just looks so good. So we've got that. And then finally, if you look inside the hands, so this is really neat, right? So let me bring in the original hand right here. So the original hand works exactly like the original one did on the original figure. You just slide that in on the peg and he can hold his weapon that way. However, you'll notice that the handle on the weapon does have a slot. Each of his hands have a tab right in there, so you can actually tab the weapon onto his wrist. And again, tight joints right here, tight tolerances, so bear with me because this is one part about this figure that always proves to be very difficult for me to do, is to tab that in there all the way and get it nice and secure. So once you get it tabbed in there, you can go ahead and wrap the fingers around. I always like to try and get the trigger finger to kind of stick out just a little bit, just like that. There you go. And there you've got Prime with his weapon ready to fight. That looks so good, guy. I can't get enough of this figure. I'm so glad that I finally decided to get it because this is just an absolute beautiful figure. And I don't even know if this is going to go on my Prime shelf because I love it so much. It's been on my desk all week and I've absolutely loved having it on my desk all week. Let's do a couple of comparisons. Here he is one more time next to the movie masterpiece Optimus Prime, so you can see the differences there. And yeah, quite the size difference. Again, this guy's a nice size. This is a great figure, but man, this guy just towers over this guy, doesn't he? It's just amazing how that works. So there's that one. Here he is with the original Studio Series figure, so you can see, yeah, quite the size difference. He's quite outgrown himself, hasn't he? You can maybe stack the, I don't have another one of these, but if I had two of these, I bet you can stack them too high. And let me see, I'm just kind of going, yeah, you can stack this one too high and it'll be the same height as that one. So that's absolutely insane. So there's that one. And then finally, here he is next to another Wei Jiang offering, M1 or M01 Commander. So you can see what these guys look like together, and they look absolutely fantastic next to each other. And there we have one last look at Autobot Apex. This figure is absolutely fantastic, and it's the right price too. Originally retailed for about $60. I got mine as an open box special, so I only paid $40 for mine, which is absolutely insane when you think about the sheer size of this figure and all of the chrome and the rubber wheels and the improvements and everything on this. Is just an absolutely fantastic figure and an excellent addition to any Optimus Prime shelf. And I think that about does it for the Wei Jiang God of War Autobot Apex. What did you think of this figure? Let me know down in the comments. Give me some thumbs up. Subscribe and hit that bell icon so you're notified when I upload a new video. I've got a donate button up there if you want to hit on that. I certainly would appreciate it. Please share it with your friends if you like what you see, and I'll talk to you next time on That's Just Prime.